Welcome to Videos Spins FFs. Disclaimer: this is a complete work of fanfiction. Jungkook, stop. I'll go by myself from here. He glared his wife, but let it slide for now. I'll be on rooftop on lunch break. Let's have lunch together, okay? She nods with a cute smile, and he immediately steal from her before anyone noticed. One cheek flushed as she felt some feathery touch of butterfly wings brushed her tummy. I shall take my leave. She turns to move while blushing, and he chuckles on her act. One was putting her books inside locker, and that's when Ira, her best friend, came and clings to Wen's shoulder. I missed you, bestie, Wen chuckled slightly, turning towards her. I missed you too. So, how was your vacation? It was fun. We went to XX place. She started blubbering every place she have gone in vacations during their summer break. She suddenly stopped remembering something and turns towards Wen with a knowing smirk. So, someone got married this summer, she teased Wen, turning her into pink immediately. Shh, there's surely no need to shout, Miss Ira. Ira makes a dramatic face as if she's offended. It's not something to hide about. I know, but it's our first day after vacations, and honestly, I'm not comfortable to announce our relationship yet. Ira made an off face, but not anyways. So, how's your new relationship and life after getting married? Tell me about my brother-in-law. Is he taking care of you, or do I need to give him a session? In air while making and giggling on her act. Relationship is good. Life after marriage is quite awesome than expected. And about him, she pauses as she bit her flower. In an attempt to suppress her blush, just thinking about him was making her blush. He's good, actually more awesome than I expect him to be. She was blabbering about him, engrossed in her daydreaming, but her steps suddenly halted in place, witnessing her Mr. Perfect coming towards her from the side. I look at her and their eyes meet, and she immediately turns into pig. As she immediately tried to avert her gaze because by this ratio everybody will know what's their relationship before telling them. Jungkook see her blushing and a light smile also appear on his lips too. Jungkook was 22 years old while Wen was 19 and they both got married 3 months ago. Wen and Jungkook was both in relationship for more than a year now before their marriage, but both of them don't want to cross the limits before marriage. But on one fine day, Jungkook told his friends about his girlfriend and also he wants to marry her. He talked with his parents to let him marry with Wen. He was surely just a high school student yet and was not financially stable, but as his father was there himself, he only work alongside with him and deal with many things because Mr. Jungwon, his father, want him to be a responsible man while he got his throne and got the title of being a mafia king. So he can also support her financially and ready to work more than he usually do for them. Meanwhile, Wen was also young and she knows everything about him and surprisingly her parents also knew about Jungkook. But as he was so young, some hurdles came in between the relationship. But being the supportive and understanding parents, Jungkook parents somehow convinced Wen's friends to let them both marry. So here are both of them nearly married lovebirds who literally blushed just being around each other. As planned, Wen went upstairs during lunch break, but there was no sign of Jungkook anywhere. She was just looking around waiting for him, and suddenly someone grabbed her arm and twirled her around towards him. But before she even realized what was happening with hers, it took her a few seconds to realize who this belongs to. As she melts, immediately placing her hands on his shoulder and let him however he want. He leaves and started some tender butterfly on her. He literally take her Jungkook as sweet left her mouth, making him smirk in satisfaction, and he looks at her with a proud smile. I miss you, he murmured, some more all over her face while she was. Oh god, Jungkook, we're in school. Have some, please, she somehow managed to say. Why would I? You're my legal wife, anyways. One blushed more as she placed her forehead on his shoulder in an attempt to hide her flustered self, and he chuckles on her cuteness. God, you're just too much, Jungkook. I'm leaving. She runs to leave, but he held her hand and pulled her back towards him, and back hugged her while snuggling his face in her. Well, let out a shaky breath on his this act. You're here to spend some quality time with me, princess. One face towards him, but before he steals another, making her in annoyance. Jungkook, we're in school right now, please. She blinks innocently, making a pouty face, and his eyes darken lightly. Don't stare me with those innocent eyes, Wayne. He almost barks, and she blinks. What eyes? He let out a sigh and slightly loosened his muscles, making Wayne smile in triumph. I shall see you when we reach back home, he drawled in her ear, making her shudder one place. Jungkook whined, being too flustered as she struggled in his firm grip to escape, but those strong, muscular won't let her move. Give me, and you're free to leave. Wen bit her lower lip and cautiously looks around as if searching for any harm or anyone who can see them. What if I give it to you later? She stared at him with slight hopeful eyes, but he shakes his head as not. Aren't you my beloved husband? Please. Of course I am, and therefore you'll give me a goodbye before leaving. He grins. I went through a nothing having no option. She tiptoed and gently. Emily rushed downstairs before he got the chance and threw another tantrum. When he heard the ringing of doorbell, as she immediately rushed open door, and as soon as the door opened, her petted figure on door behind and a pair of one eye slightly widened, but she got relaxed in a few seconds, inhaling his heavenly scent and let him dominate her and do whatever he wants. Within seconds, they turns into a and closed the door shut behind him in rhythm. He took her to nearest couch and break from her for a few minutes. When took some heavy, and he and started living. I miss you, baby, he murmured with a last on her jaw, then face her. So am I. She wisps tiltingly, and he smirks. That's what I love about you the most, princess. You match. A proud glint occurs in Wayne's eyes. You were supposed to come back home 4 hours ago. So my dear husband, why are you late? Where were you? She narrows her eyes, glaring at him, while her fingers were brushing his ears. He stared at her for a few seconds and then sighs. I'm a busy man, Ryan, and you know my work too. Some things happened and therefore I go late. I'm sorry. I'll try to come in time from now on. And it makes you lose your temper as always, he grins, making one let out a heavy sigh. Sometimes it concerns me thinking what will happen to you without me go. He made her face him by grabbing her with his hand. What will I do? I would without you. In cold voice, one blinks as she forward and his lips before meeting his gaze. Fine, get up and change your clothes. I'll ask maid to arrange dinner. His smirk stylishly making my phones. What? I have a really day, so therefore I will instead of something else. He low growl in her ear and sparks of electricity rushed in her body, making her took. Jungkook, she calls his name, but it turns into go find you. Maybe you can. But later she managed to say in shuddering voice and Jungkook, are you dropping me college today? He raised a brow. We always saw together when who was packing her backpack looked towards him, who was still lying on bed without any worry of fault. As he threw the book in his face, what? He was staring her. And that's why you're still lying on bed, she hissed, getting angry. I am I think I was supposed to be the one to complain this, she grits, and he slightly smirks, making her eyes more dark. Get up before I lose my temper and do something to you, Jungkook. He got startled as he immediately got up and rushed towards to get fresh, while let out a deep breath in attempt to calm her nerves. When what have I done now? Are you not going to even talk with me? Please, at least look at me, baby. Love, princess, pretty please. One smiled slightly, making sure he didn't see it. Don't wait for me upstairs. I'm not coming today, he frowns, while went open door and left him sitting there alone. He looked at a heavy sigh, not knowing what he would do this time, and why was he so mad? Out of nowhere, God, it's so fun to tease him. She giggles, going towards her class, but someone stopped her way, making her frown slightly. She stared at the person, and it was Duke, Jungkook's rival. Wen knew about him very well. As she tried to move, but he can't stop her way. Move, Duke. I'm not in mood for any of your sick games, Wen hissed, glaring him, and he chuckles. Well, you will be after I show you why I'm here. He smirks, and Wen raised a brow in confusion. Don't play your games with me and leave. God, you look so when you got angry kitten. He tried to touch her face, but Wen jerked his hand away. He was clearly offended but didn't show it on his face and grinned instead. So, you really want me to show you these pictures to everyone? He took her to the nearest library as he took out an envelope from his jacket and extended towards her. She raised a brow but held it and opened the envelope only to get a heart attack. There was countless pictures of Jungkook and Ryan together while in rooftop. She almost trembled on her place. They both were just high school students and have not even graduated yet. And if the school council will see these photos of them, will surely rusticate them immediately. Getting some senses back, one clenched them in her, making them crumble. And she was ready to by now. Who the you think you were by doing all this? Hmm? Stalking us like a creepy freak psycho. What a pathetic you are to go this though. She grits out, ready to her anger on him. His eyes also darkened to hear her words. Wine tried to, but instead he held her arm and making her wince. If I'm being polite earlier, that doesn't mean I will let others dominate me and let them do whatever they want, and especially now, when your self-respect under my palm. I suggest you to think before your actions because it took me a second to separate all these orders on school's social platform and to go our principal. He smirks evilly at the end while tears were dripping from one side by now. What do you want from me? She sobs, losing her all hopes while he have a you. I want to with me and boyfriend or whatever you have relation with him. I will take a few his smirks and one hard drop in pit of her stomach and something really broke. You're so psycho and insane and you clearly need a psychiatrist, she somehow managed to say in her barely crying. He raised her arm and grabbed her as he choked her till she was verged to lose her consciousness. Use this only when and where it is necessary and needed because it will surely get you in big trouble, Wildcat. And keep in mind, if you want with me, I shall make sure both of you have left her, finding it difficulty to breathe. And when fell on floor. Her brain was clearly not working at all at this point. She was scared, adrenaline extreme in her body. She don't know what she think and what will she actually do. But one thing she was clearly sure was she will never lose her. She loved him more than anything to make him feel. When wiped her eyes, getting up and clean her dress before going towards class. No once when he saw her entering late in class while she went way earlier than him and she was clearly not looking good condition. One looked up, rubbing her eyes for her seat as her eyes met with his as well, and she tried to smile just to reassure him, but in vain. Jungkook clenched his jaw, noticing Even though she has been ignoring him from morning, she surely was in a good mood before she left her, and he can tell by a single glance something is clearly off. He had expected her to sit beside him, so he will impatiently ask what's wrong, but instead of sitting beside him, she went towards her best friend desk and sat with her. That literally him more, but controlling his nerves, he took out a phone and texted his wife, who see it almost instantly but didn't reply for a few minutes, making him impatient more. A message notification popped and he immediately said, I'm fine, Jiko, relax. She was clearly not, and he can tell without even being close with her. One was lost in her own thoughts all day, and he was getting worried for her by each passing second. And he finally confronted her in lunch break, but her answer was same, she's fine. She herself don't know what to tell him when she clearly know he will lose all his senses if she told him what happened and why was he actually not in good mood. It was end of lunch break and one was silent sitting in classroom being anxious and clearly depressed, her eyes with unshed tears, but still she was trying her best to control herself. Ira entered the classroom as she opened door with a loud bang. She ran from somewhere, one clenched badly, and immediately faced up to see who came inside, and witnessed her best friend like this. When readily got up from her seat and went towards her. What happened? Are you okay? Is there something wrong? Her voice contains a hint of panic. Fear was clearly visible in her eyes. Ira slightly shakes her head while trying to stable her wits. Jungkook, she breathed, and one raised a point confusion. What Jungkook? Something ticked in Wan's brain, and her eyes slightly widened. Fear what will happen, and if somehow Jungkook know about why she was actually feeling about what happened to him, please tell me, Ara. He's with Luke in backyard, like one forgot to breathe hearing the particular name, and her feet immediately made their way towards there. Her eyes widened to see the mess he had created. There was almost 9 boys in pain on the floor, while Jungkook was Luke without any mercy. Young Wine yelled his name, gasping to take breath because she went as far as she can to reach him. His eyes turned more darker, meeting hers. He hates to show his this side to her, but it was also true. She's the only one who can come, especially in this condition. Wine tried to get closer, and he clenches. He was looking like a live hawk in front of her. One gulps, aware and totally afraid of his anger. When leave before I lose all my control and do some serious, he hissed in gritted teeth and throw some more. Was already when almost felt nauseous to see him. Jingu, please calm down and come to me. He glared at her, making her gulp a lump. She was also getting afraid of him at this point. Don't interrupt. I will today with my. He growled and one almost trembled standing in front as some more tears rolled down from her eyes. But instead of listening, him went took a cautious and calculated step towards him, and before he got the chance to protest or react, she hugs him immediately, unwrapping by arms around his back. He struggles in her embrace himself, afraid he might hurt her, but she was not ready to leave him. But after a few seconds, he got lightly relaxed in her embrace as he stopped moving while one was squeezing his back gently. It's one love, I'm here. She faced him when he was much calm than before, lightly, but the beast inside him took over, and within seconds, there was whole school was gathered around in the backyard as they guessed to see what's happening in front, and one was also forgot her earlier fear because at this moment the only person I'm not in my senses when I may ended up hurting you, baby. So please stay away from me for a while, he murmured near her, and one who was sitting on his shakes her head as down. There was tear stains rolling from her eyes, his heart slightly. Let's leave Jungkook. I can't stay here right now. Please, let's go back home. She hiccups with sobs. Stop crying, please, love. It hurts to see tears in your eyes. When sobs more, his shirts in a fist. Jungkook looked around and giving everyone making them back away immediately. And then he picked Wyan in his arms and started moving. When gasped where everyone's burning gaze in her back, but she careless and hid her Wait, didn't tell me right away. He was not angry like before, but his muscles were still stiff. When he was wiping his face, looked in his eyes, and then immediately averted her gaze. He clenched his jaw and wrapped his arm around her, pulling her closer face to face towards him as he made her to sit on his. My mind was not working, and I was surely afraid, thinking the same earlier thing will happen after I told you. She gulps a visible lump, eyes fixed on his face, which she was wiping carefully. But I got to know anyways, was not I? He was still angry, and I knew it very well, unfortunately. I will, he grits. One grabbed his jaw, making him face her, but before I understand what it is she was up to, with his into arm, and within seconds he her every nerve and even think properly. Tell me to when he murmured, picking it. Fan's Swan's face. He was still trying to be with her, even though he was. Jungkook shook his cheek lightly, and he closed her eyes. Everything about you is addicting, baby, and you're surely making me more addictive for you by every passing second. One was saying on his while making some random circles, his arm wrapped around her. How you got to know? He asked softly. He was also stable and calm after angry. He looks down towards her, slightly feeling guilty. I'm sorry, I behaved earlier. One looks at him and smiles lightly while shaking his head. Don't go. I know you were trying to be patient and calm in front of me, and I know you better than anyone. But anyways, she shrugs. You don't reply me. He sighs. I can read your eyes when you're also like an open book for me, and I can understand change of your behavior before you even tell me what's wrong. So, as I was noticing earlier, and I also asked you, but you didn't tell me anything. Coincidentally, during lunch break, I went to put my books in your locker because it was nearest, but he pauses and took a deep breath. I found our crumbled pictures there, and it was not hard to know whose drawing is this. One size, as she didn't thought he would go to know by this way. And then you confronted him, he nods, and then you lose your temper, he nods again. Will he? She asked the question which was bugging her the most. He scoffs. Just need few, and they will be fine as you, he drawled, as if it was nothing, while they both know how he beat him. And his friend, as she shakes her head in disbelief. What if they will investigate us? Have some faith on your husband when he stared her for a few seconds and then sighs. Are you mad at me, baby? He pouts dramatically, trying to be cute, and she will instantly buy it if she's by any chance. One stir him as she leans forward and no, I'm not mad at you, my love. In fact, I'm a wife of yours, Mr. Cook. You did right, you deserve it, and we always have, so don't think about it, and always know that I love you so much, she murmurs and leaves some butterfly. You, my love, my woman, you're my only strength, and the only one who keeps me in my doors. I can't live without you, Wayne, mumbles as he wraps his hand around her. Thanks for watching, everyone.